Good evening, everybody. I hope you are all healthy and well. This is Harold Pian. For those of you that may not know me, I am a consultant. Background is social work. I also used to teach social work at universities and been involved with this and that. Had my own company working with developing care management programs and been with ADHD for quite some time, for about 18 years, and been able to see, at least in my limited 18 years of being in this field and industry, some good times and some challenging times. And as many of you know, we just went through the development of CBAS TAS services, CBAS Temporary Alternative Services, due to the COVID-19 situation and the need for care and services that are provided to the participants that we serve. And for those of you that may not know, last Friday, or the end of last week, on May 14th, 2020, Governor Newsom came back with a revised budget proposal, which at this time plans to eliminate ADHD, MSSP, and a number of other programs, but particularly for this video and for our interest, because this is a video about ADHD, CBAS centers, they plan to eliminate CBAS services as of January 2021. And so you can find this budget on the internet. You can just Google California Governor budget, and you'll come up with, you can find May revision 2020 to 2021. And if you're looking for the particular section in the report that discusses the planned or proposed elimination of CBAS, you can look under the Health and Human Services portion of the report. So right now, if they have their way, CBAS, Community-Based Adult Services and Multi-Purpose Senior Services Program, are slated to be eliminated, at least for CBAS, January 1st, 2021, and MSSP, July 1st of 2020. So in several months, MSSP is slated to be eliminated as well, with a projected saving of, if both are eliminated, of $106.8 million in 2020 to 2021, and $255.8 million in 2021 to 2022. Now, I'm not going to get into, much more, political discussion, but, if we look at other aspects of the budget and how California is spending its money, the proposed elimination amount for CBAS services is on par with some programs that, some may not necessarily agree with. But nonetheless, I'm not going to get into that. However, and I'm not going to go into the benefits and importance of CBAS, multi-service MSSP programs, because those of you watching, limited audience, and probably know why we are important. But just know, we are slated to be eliminated January 1st of 2021. It's good to know I just found out today, and today is Wednesday, and I found out today Disability Rights California drafted a letter May 19th, 2020, and they sent it to the Honorable Joaquin Arambula, the chair of Assembly Budget Subcommittee number 1, and Honorable Richard Pan, MD, chair, Subcommittee number 3. And the letter is regarding the elimination of adult day health care, community-based adult services, and multi-service purpose senior services program. And a little history lesson here. Disability rights, along with many other advocacy groups, band together to help prevent the prior or former attempt to eliminate ADHD as a program between 2009 through 2012. And Disability Rights California filed a lawsuit, and through the lawsuit and lobbying efforts of these organizations, grassroots efforts, even by participants who went out on the steps of the Capitol to advocate for the survival of ADHD. But Disability Rights California played a very, very important role And I remember there were a lot of other issues regarding participant medical necessity. And I had the opportunity and pleasure of being able to kind of provide as I guess, a expert witness or expert reviewer for individual participants to prove or to evaluate whether or not they met their medical necessity. So I was happy to see Disability Rights California, and I expected them to jump on board right away. And I was like impressed with seeing how soon they wrote the letter. And so if you're really interested in this, you may just do a simple Google search, Disability Rights California, letter regarding elimination of CBAS, and I found this on the internet today. Just Google it. As I mentioned, there are many groups involved with this effort, not just Disability Rights California, but also CADS, our State Association for Adult Day Healthcare Services. So we are always thankful for the efforts that they have, and they usually take the lead and help rally, all our allies together to help advocate for the seniors that we serve and for the services that are provided by CBAS programs. So I saw this nice video today by Renee. She is the president of Tarr, and just a little shout out. I saw the video and I liked it. It's a short video and it's well put together. I'm sure she put a lot of work into it. So I wanted to, if you wanted to check out that YouTube video, I would go check it out. CBAS Elimination. You can just Google that and it'll pop up and you'll see this one there. Now I did, for the centers that I work with as administrator and as a consultant, I have recommended or requested that they write letters because we're in COVID-19 situation. And as I mentioned earlier, our lobbying efforts, grassroots efforts, are not impeded as they are now. Sometimes the most powerful lobbying and the most impact we can get in terms of getting it out there, the importance of what we do, is having our participants there, because many of them were in the wheelchairs and the steps of the Capitol. And we can't necessarily do that, nor should we even recommend that due to the situation at this time. So our lobbying efforts, might need to be more aggressive in other means. And that can include things like whether it's Twitter, or I don't do Twitter, but Twitter or YouTube videos, sharing the video, or whether it's writing your local legislators. So what I have recommended to my staff, if they could, because their livelihoods depends on the existence of our program, right? And there are many people that are in the process of opening centers. They have leases signed and they're excited to provide services as a CBAS provider. However, their ability to do so may not come to fruition. Their desire to do so may not happen because of what's happening and what's proposed in the governor's budget. But what I am recommending to my staff is that they write a letter. And I did find that most of the people, the senators I wrote, and I'll talk about those, the governor, senator, assembly people, they have websites. And in fact, all legislators have websites. And in fact, for all those individuals, at least for Senator Feinstein, Dianne Feinstein, Senator Kamala Harris, Governor Newsom, for the Reseda Valley area, Assemblymember Gabrielle, their websites had electronic portals where you can submit emails that way. So it saves you a stamp and saves you some time, and it's actually quite efficient. So what I would do is, first and foremost, because you're a constituent of the district, the assembly district that you live in, and in fact, even for the House of Representatives, because there's many House of Representatives that serve for California, but in California, there are only 2 senators. So that's pretty simple. Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris, you want to send them your opinion and letting them know CBAS is important service, and perhaps they might not even know what CBAS is. Of course, sending it to the governor. But for on a more local level, depending on where you live, what I would recommend 2 things. Write a letter to the individual, the legislator that represents the district in which your CBAS center is located. That's one thing. The other strategy is also to write the legislator that is in the area that you live. Because the area that you live, your vote might be counting for them, but they may not care for your vote, for your letter, if you don't live in the area in which you may vote and depend on your vote, right? But nonetheless, you may want to think about writing letters to the legislators that represent the area in which your center is located and where you live. So for Reseda, these were the people that I contacted. Kamala Harris, and here's all their local state office, DC office, local office. Dianne Feinstein. Both of them, I was able to send a letter via email. I haven't got a response back, but I did hear from some of our staff. They did send a letter via the portal to the local assembly member, and they responded. So that was good to know. So we want to let them know that we care. And because many of them may not even be aware of what CBAS is. So I think providing information to them may help them realize, oh, CBAS services are actually very important, and CBAS isn't just the fish, right? Okay, so assembly member for the 45th district, which is Reseda, Encino is covered in that area, Jesse Gabrielle. So you can easily search up who is the assembly member for Fullerton, for whatever, San Diego, for Fresno, whoever the assembly person is, you want to be writing them directly as well. And again, what I found, at least for Jesse Gabrielle, we could send the information directly through their portal. And for the House of Representatives, of course, that depends on where you live. For Sherman Oaks area, where is one of the centers I work at is located, Brad Sherman. So again, your House of Representative, the representative you may need to contact may be different. Now, I'm not sure if they may have any direct impact on the vote of the budget because it is a state level issue, but nonetheless, it would be good to let them know. So I have a feeling that the assembly member would probably be more important in terms of contacting, but nonetheless, contact the governor, the senator, the assembly member, the representative. Okay, so it just takes a few minutes. And if you're working at ADHC, or if your family member is benefiting from the protection and services that are provided by a CBAS provider, then it is worth the few minutes of time to send an email to them. And one thing I'm recommending to my employees, I mean, in addition to letting them know that, not only is it important for our participants, but for them as well. Because as you know, COVID, a lot of CBAS centers have been operating due to COVID pandemic. What does this mean? This means that many, many thousands of employees have also remained employed. And what does that mean as well? That means they have been able to work, earn a paycheck, and pay the bills and help pay their put food on the table for the family. So this is another side of the human side of things when CBAS centers are eliminated. So not only do our participants suffer, but the employees suffer. So what are they going to do? You know how hard it is difficult to find a job right now because of COVID? Many businesses are being shut down. Many businesses can't operate now because of the COVID situation. What does that mean? What is the implied or indirect cost on the state in terms of unemployment? Right? On top of the fact that if our participants are not served by CBAS centers, the institutionalization with the whole COVID thing and talking about how important it is to protect the seniors and keeping them out of nursing homes, well, this sounds kind of counterproductive to that, right? And so even if the CBAS center isn't in operation, who else suffers? The landlord, they're not getting rent. They're not paying taxes to the state. The employees aren't paying state taxes for their payroll, right? The collateral vendors that we work with, restaurants, they're also losing a contract and not getting paid. So, it's kind of counterintuitive when you're talking budget crisis, budget issue, and they're going to eliminate the program, plus lose the matching funds from the federal government, plus all the implied revenue that could come through the ongoing operation of the CBAS centers. Now, I'm focusing on the business side, the number side, because that's what they're proposing to us is from a data financial perspective of why CBAS is disposable, right? But when in fact, it is not. And more importantly, the human side of how it impacts those that we serve. So this is a letter. This is just a template, a shell, and I've emailed this openly to a number of people, a number of centers, and they're free to use this, copy, paste, modify however they want. But there's really two core elements to this is letting them know that you as an individual your family, your livelihood depends on the fact that you have a job through an open CBAS center. And then, of course, the importance of CBAS services that are being provided and the touches and the impact that we have on the community. Okay, so make it very clear that you are opposed to the proposed elimination of CBAS centers. Okay, so finally, here, a couple reminders. Remember, right from your position, your position as employee. I'm a social worker. I am a nurse. Especially these two roles within the center, because of the fact these are essential employees, and in fact, the CBAS TAS program has, really modified the staffing structure during TAS to include program director, nursing, and social worker. Your role as a resident, perhaps, or perhaps when you write as a program director or administrator, you might want to fine-tune the letter to reflect your role there. And then especially the owners, having the owners write a letter from their perspective and how it impacts them. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's one governor for California, so that's simple. There's 2 senators for each state. California, Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris. You got to write them, and then the assembly member and representative in the district that you live. So again, I'm going to end with this because this was very this made me very happy to see this letter from Disability Rights. I know that they've done a lot of good work and in the past have historically played a key role along with CADS and other organizations and the support from the state agencies, Department of Aging. But I noticed on the letter here that perhaps these are also other assembly members that you may be writing to, Joaquin Arambula and Richard Pan, because it sounds like if Disability Rights wrote to them, they may be important people that we need to reach out to. So with that, please help join the effort in terms of advocating for the participants, for lobbying, for putting our voice out there, letting them know how important CBAS Center is for the participants, for you, and indirectly for the state as well, for the benefit of the state from many perspectives, health perspective, even budgetary perspective. So with that, thank you for taking the time to watch this and to lobby for supporting CBAS, for the ongoing existence of CBAS services. With that, call it a day. Enjoy your evening. Be safe and well. Take care. Bye-bye.